Nikhil sir,
Yeah.
sorry for the interruption. Now everything is fine. You can commence the session.
Okay. Thank you. Let me go back to. I think I was explaining the. Present now. Entire screen. Just confirming, you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The flight delay. Welcome back all. We were, those who might have missed a little bit, we were discussing about the case study of airline industry of three-party smart contract transaction between airlines, insurance company, and the passengers. So as I explained, this is a live application being used, right? So it's a Ethereum based. So if as I said, if flight is delayed by a certain agreed amount, your payout as per your smart contracts would be paid automatically, right? And you will see, you will get the email. So this is one of the insurance live site which has already been offered using this. So right now in this case study, Ethereum, which is ETH, the one I showed you about, you can pay using Ethereum as a cryptocurrency as well, and you can get the reward in that currency as well. So I guess you get the sense of it. What I'm so this is your policies issued, an insurance policy, and it's on the smart contract. So this is how you will get the certificate of insurance of whatever the ticket that you have bought. Right. Okay, I'm turning on my video. All right, so that's essentially how the Ethereum smart contract can take place. Now, quickly before I go to next topic on Hyperledger, let me just introduce you the MetaMask, the concept which can let you do some basic test network testing and play around with it. So you can search on Google and then just look for MetaMask for Chrome. You'll get the MetaMask Chrome extension right here, like on the screen. You can just once you install, you will get this MetaMask plugin like this on your Chrome browser. And here you can choose, these are the different test network where you can, let's say you're writing a smart contract or you're writing a Ethereum based application and you wanted to do transaction, right? Obviously, buying Ether is almost $600, and when you're doing your platform testing and writing application, you obviously not gonna play around with your real Ethereum. So these are the test network, let you do the transactions. So it's actually creating the account is very self-explanatory, and matter of minutes you'll have your own account. So right now I'm just showing you a demo with my account logged in. So this is how you log in. In my account I have 3 sub accounts created. So let's look at one of them. And this account one, I have 10 Ether. Let's don't get excited. This is just dummy numbers. as I said, dummy in the sense these are not the real Ether, but they do transact as if it would be doing on the real network, right? So I have chosen Topston as a test network. Rinkibai is also another network. These are the few network, and the first one, the Ethereum. This is the main network, right? This is where you actual transactions of real Ethereum happens. So obviously I have 0 Ethereum there, and in my test network I have Ropsten test network. So here what I can do is I can send or receive the money, and I can see how actually it happens on the real Ethereum network. So let's say I'm going to send this. I'm clicking on the send, and where I want to send it. So let's look at that. First, let's take the simple example of buying. So as you know that there is a test faucet network is available. So I'm going to request the test Ether. So from this test network, I'm going to get right now I have 10.69, right? So if I request 1 Ether, I'm going to get uh, 11, right? Because I'm going to get 1 Ether. Now there is some error here. So let's take a different example. By the way, what you see here, this account details, for example, the account details, what you see here is one of my wallet ID, right? This is how it's going to be seen on the Explorer, that they're not going to see my account name or ID or anything. It's only going to see this number, that money has been transferred from this account to this account. So let's look at on an Ether scan, just like a Bitcoin transaction network that I showed you earlier. Similarly, for all Ethereum, this is also a public network where you can see all the transaction happening. All right. So as you can see in my account, there are 10.69 Ethereum balances available, and I'm going to do some activity. The one that we saw here, I'm going to, let's say this is one of the user. How much it has? 10.70 Ether. Okay. I'm going to use its address so that you get the idea. 1 second. So I think some issue here. But anyway. Okay, I'm copying that address and I'm switching my account to account number 2, right? And I'm going to send. So this is a recipient address where I want to send this. How many Ether I wanted to send? Let's say I wanted to send 0.5. Let me put just 1, right? So from my second account, I'm going to give this user 1 Ether, and these are the gas. Remember I told you earlier that there are some kind of mining fee based on a proof of stake. So whoever is going to be rewarded is going to get this much of amount, which is a small transaction, like a paisa of rupees. Like this is a WEI, WEI, that's a unit of Ethereum. I'm going to do next, right? And then I'm confirming. So right, so there is a 1 Ethereum I want to transfer, and there is a 0.002016. There is a fee that I need to pay for transferring this transaction. Now I'm confirming, right? So once this transaction is over, you will see that amount is going to be reduced by 1. It will take few seconds because this is going to be, see right now it's showing is a pending status. Right now it has went to a Ether scan network. Once the transaction is completed, see, I hope you can see this. From 1.49, it's now reduced to 0.49. That means 1 Ether has gone. Where it gone? It went here, right? Look at here. It was 10.70. Now it is 11.70. Right. So this is how you can do the transaction network and all this stuff you can also see on the Ethereum network. Let me quickly show you that as well. View on Etherscan. See, my second account balance is gone from 1.49 to 0.49, and this is 43 seconds before this transaction has taken place, right? Of 1 ether has moved from this account to this account. All right. So that's MetaMask. I encourage you to play around with it. It's quite straightforward, and you will get quite a bit of interesting first-hand exposure of how things are happening inside. So we looked at Ethereum, we looked at smart contract, we looked at Solidity, how it works, and how you can write a smart contract, just like airline example that we saw. Now let's move on to kind of blockchain 3.0. For all practical purpose, you can call it as a private blockchain or enterprise blockchain. And one of the common name you'll hear that is a Hyperledger. So Hyperledger is private blockchain, or you can call it enterprise blockchain, as I said. Now, I literally copied this definition because it's very robust definition from Wikipedia. So what is Hyperledger? So Hyperledger, first of all, to understand what it is, we need to understand what it is not, right? So first of all, Hyperledger is a private blockchain application, it is not a cryptocurrency. It is not a crypto token. So as of now, there is no cryptocurrency associated with it. This is kind of application you can think of, for example, your college record which you want to put on a blockchain, or government has a land registry where many times we see that a lot of farmers are going through a lot of trouble because of illiteracy, and a lot of scam happens with them, where if he has, let's say, 3-acre land and he want to sell it 1 acre to somebody, and he think that he has remaining 2-acre land left with him, but somebody gone to the central database with all kind of corruption and some fake land registry records, the farmers is left with nothing, right? But what if this whole transactions are on government private blockchain, right, which is in a way it is owned by government, but it is visible to a public. So that kind of blockchain transactions, land registry records could happen on this kind of solutions. So first of all, it is not linked with the cryptocurrency. It is not literally a blockchain in a them same spirit, and it is not owned by kind of a one company, right? It is a consortium. So Hyperledger is an umbrella project which offers necessary framework and all the standards, guidelines, tools to build your blockchain based applications, or like what I call is dApps, right? Earlier, distributed apps. So using all available tools, the blockchain related, Hyperledger project enables businesses to build the blockchain based solutions and services. So you can go to let me show you. So those who are interested, you can explore this. Go to hyperledger.org. It will come. Yeah. So this Hyperledger project, you will learn a lot about this. This is one of the most exciting aspects of it, and there are a number of companies are participating into it, and there are a number of companies who are already part of the ecosystem. Let me show you some of the members. You will get the idea that how widely it is been popular. Like look at American Express, Accenture, you name it, right? There are so and so forth, right? So you can look at it. There's huge ecosystems is behind this, and number of universities also become a part of this, and from academia perspective. We in our company, we do have various projects we do take time to time. So those who are seriously interested, please get in touch with us through your college coordinators, we do have some internship offering time to time to work on Ethereum or Hyperledger based applications. So going back to presentation, Hyperledger, you can think about as a distributed ledger, and it has various libraries, it has number of tools, and it has a distributed ledgers. So one of the most popular one is a Hyperledger Fabric, which is one of the widely used. Sawtooth is also one of the another popular application of Hyperledger. So many times, if you want to do the supply chain kind of applications, that's where the Sawtooth is used. The Fabric is used for all general purpose, applications. Iroha is to build the mobile application. So for Hyperledger, if you want to build, build the mobile applications, so it has a lot of APIs and ecosystems built in this. So and so forth. You will see, different aspects of it. Just to give you momentum, there are 250 members across the world on this. There are a number of projects are ongoing, a lot of interest from China also. And this is a number of contributors, number of line of codes as built under ecosystem. So you will find a lot of details on that on Hyperledger link that I showed you. So in terms of time, I'll not go into the glory details of every component. If you have a dedicated time for Hyperledger session, probably you will learn that into your future sessions as well. But in a nutshell, Hyperledger Fabric, the asset means anything which has a monetary value and its transfer. All asset transfers are get recorded, which can be fruits, the fruits, future of equity, cars, whatever. Anything which has a monetary value will be get recorded on the Hyperledger. So these are the different tools that we talked about. Now, interestingly, the key difference that you have to understand, in Ethereum, we call it smart contract, right? And it is written in Solidity, versus in Hyperledger, it is called chain code, right? So this is basically all your contracts is going to be written using chain code concept. So this slide would give you a very good comparison at high level. That this is like Bitcoin, which is blockchain 1.0, blockchain 2.0, and Hyperledger is blockchain 3.0. So there is as I said, there is a Bitcoin, there is Ether associated with it. There is no currency associated with it, but there is a room open. If required, it can be integrated in the future. This is a public network. This is a permissioned network, right? This is only by invitation and by approval. I told you about the consensus algorithm, proof of work, right? We talked about the disadvantages here. We talked about there is a proof of work, and the new versions of Ethereum that they use it proof of stake. The example that I just showed you in the beginning of this session. There is something called PBFT, which is practical Byzantine fault tolerance algorithm, which is being used here. And there is no smart contract here in Bitcoin. There is a Solidity based smart contract, and here chain code based smart contract, right? So here Bitcoin, in Ethereum, Go language and Python is used. Here Go language and Java is used. So this is another reason those who are enthusiasts about learning Go language, here you will find the applicability of that into Hyperledger. So as I said, I'm going to skip some of this slide, which explain the different components of Hyperledger, and move on to the next topic. In essentially, just to give you perspective, that Hyperledger Fabric, one of the most popular framework of deploying the applications, which is basically, it is set of nodes, right? So this is one organization, organization 2, organization 3 and 4. So think about it. So this is, let's say, chocolate manufacturer, and these are the partners who are buying the chocolates and then distribute across the world, or they are the supplier of cocos or milk, right? These are the supplier, these are the purchaser, or these are the distributors. So let's say this is a Hershey's chocolate or some big chocolate manufacturing unit, and all transactions can be deployed in a Hyperledger. So there are rules or there are links between these organizations, and they are managed through a chain code, right? There is the smart contracts, if you will, in among this organization. So for example, I have some distributors or partners who are doing business with me for last 20 years, and I'm offering them 20% discount, versus somebody new who has become our partners. They're only offering 10% discount to them on all our products. So these are the separate contracts executed, because I don't want my new partners to know about my prior arrangement with the different old partners, right? So this kind of fabric network allow you to design multi-facet of relationships between different organizations. This is called peers, fabric network, the permissions, who can get into the network, so on and so forth. So I'm assuming you will learn how to, get a little bit more details of Hyperledger in deployment. But I think essentially you get the big framework idea about how this works. Okay. So in summary of Hyperledger, basically organizations are allowed to participate based on the administrator roles and responsibility. Hyperledger Fabric provides all the users with a public and private keys, so that they all are authenticated within that. So it works on a proof of stake concept. It is open source project, Linux Foundation, and supported by a number of companies, as we saw. As I said, it's an open framework, right? So anybody can participate and contribute in the development of it. Okay, now let's move on to another topic. I know we are almost at so I'm just highlighting that probably if required, I'll spend a few more minutes to recover the time that we have lost in the middle. So let's look at IOTA. As name include IoT, right? I'm sure everybody knows Internet of Things or machine-to-machine communication, M2M. So IOTA is a platform which kind of concept which enables machine-to-machine communication in the ecosystem. One second. Hello. Yeah, I know. We have. So I might continue beyond 2:30. Sure. Okay. The IOTA is enabling M2M communication. So what is fundamentally unique in IOTA framework is it's enabling you to communicate between these different sensors and different devices. So there is a trust and there is ownership level. Whole IOTA concept is taking it to a whole different level altogether. So for just a little bit of background, IOTA is again open source digital assets issued by NGO non-profit foundation, which is based in Germany. The whole premises is to enabling machine-to-machine communication. So what you can do is the whole day-to-day activities like buying the goods, buying the services, or you have different sensors that can be used for charging, or like there is a camera which is on the street, which is deployed by a particular company, right? And this is part of the whole IOTA network, and they can be there is a traffic fine that can be paid using IOTA, that can be reward for a good drivers. I mean, there are a number of things which basically essentially IOTA based. Now, one of the very interesting observation that I like to highlight here, that all the transactions on IOTA platform are feeless. That means there is no like gas or mining fees involved. So basically all transactions are feeless, right? It's essentially a free. And another benefit, it's instant speed, because there is no mining involved, right? There is no mining involved, there's no gas involved, because it's very lightweight in a way. So because of those processes are eliminated, it is quite faster. Now, let me give you one of the interesting perspective from the industry. Despite the promise of all these Bitcoins, as we talked about in the earlier session, there are some challenges, the scalability, right? I think I mentioned earlier that adding the one block in a blockchain, in a Bitcoin blockchain, it takes about 10 minutes, right? So that's quite a bit of time. Versus if you look at the current transactions on our traditional network like Visa card or MasterCard or American Express, they typically can handle 3,000 kind of transactions per second, right? Versus uh, versus in this Bitcoin, I believe these numbers are per minute. So their numbers are quite high versus Bitcoin, Ethereum. Of course, Ethereum is a little bit faster because it has the consensus algorithm has been simplified and not everybody is wasting time, and there are some other benefits. So Bitcoin can only do this amount of transactions. So it is not seen as a widely scalable. If you want to do thousands and thousands of transactions in a second, then Bitcoin has a limitation, right? Ethereum is a little bit faster. Ripple example that those who has joined in the morning session, I talked about the cross-border transactions is done through Ripple. So Ripple is almost can do 1500 versus IOTA is also quite reliable and quite fast. It almost get to a point of 1,000 transactions can be handled in that minute time frame. So in a way, it is quite promising. Now let me take one example. I think it will give you the whole example that I wanted to highlight. So I have identified one good example that would, yeah. Hope you can see my screen. Can anybody confirm that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here let's look at Jaguar, which is, by the way, I think Tata has acquired that. This is example of how you know auto sector can be used with the IOTA kind of technology, with smart wallets. One second. So let me stop here. So now what is happening, that car is, obviously we know that I'm sure some of your students and those who has joined would have looked into building the driverless car, or they were, at least they would have tried some kind of automation with the Raspberry or Arduino boards to build some kind of car, right? So we know that Tesla, the current version is being sold in US. I think the cost is somewhere at $60,000 or in north of 60,000 US dollar. It does offer driverless or a hands-free option, and a couple of my friends has already tried that as well. So Tesla, certain models do even today on a highway in US can drive the vehicle without driver touching the steering, right? Because it obviously look at the surroundings, look at the the next lane trucks or car, how far it is, and based on that it accelerate or it put the brake. In fact, uh, some of the Tesla car, obviously they can do the overtake also automatically, right? And obviously driver has to sit and if required can overtake the control, just like a plane in autopilot mode. Now in this case, all the cars are obviously filled with lot of sensors. So if the car is passing by and it's detecting some kind of damage on the road, right? There is a foothole. Then that foothole would be reported by the car uh, to the centralized government system, which is powered by the IOTA. And for doing this service, this driver or the whoever is the owner of the car, they will be rewarded by certain IOTA, right? And the government can report uh, uh, that whoever has done, they will automatically trigger the maintenance request to fulfill that. So as it said, now you can see that the car itself is a moving machine with so many sensors. It obviously can report the road condition. It can report the traffic conditions. It can report the weather conditions, right? Because those are the most accurate weather. Many governments are putting all kind of weather sensors, but the cars can also, because the different drivers are passing by, they know exactly the GPS location and they can report the weather automatically because as I said, all kind of sensors are built inside the car. So all this data is being fed into the grid, and in the reward, they will be, for participating into it, you will be getting some iota, for example, as a crypto reward, and that can be used to pay for your tolls, right? When you're passing by a toll booth, whatever the reward. So this is basically is a fully functioning ecosystem. Yeah. Okay, so that's, I thought, was a good example. There are a number of other examples. This is one of the other one for smart cities. How the different ecosystem can come together for building the smart city. So, for example, I have a solar roof that's producing so much of surplus energy. At my home, we have recently got a solar panel installed, which generating the energy goes to the torrent meters, right? And I mean, basically, our monthly bill is reduced significantly. So similar concept, right? That you can charge, the, let's say you have a vehicle which needs to be charged, electric vehicle. So, and I bet you in next 5 years, you will see a huge entry of many electrical vehicles, electrical cars. Right now, it is not that popular, but in next 5 years, I am almost very certain that you will see quite a bit of humongous new models and new technologies going to be introduced. So right now, I think one of the key challenges in India, we don't have a lot of charging stations everywhere, right? Which is that infrastructure needs to be built. So it's the chicken and egg, but uh, this kind of solutions where, let's say there is a, I'm driving car to a work, and in my office there is a, huge solar panels been installed, so that whatever the energy which is being generated, that can be used to pay for, or for charging the cars. So I can pay by the iota currency. Actually, the currency name is M iota. I'll show you this one on the screen. IOTA is a framework, is a blockchain variations of this, but relevant corresponding cryptocurrency is M IOTA. Yeah, this one, M IOTA. Right. So this is like in couple of like 30 cents or $0.30. So I hope you got the idea, right? That you can get paid by IOTA, and that ecosystem can be used for respective other mechanisms. Like here, I can pay for my charging my electric car in some IOTAs, and the companies, the building which is generating the solar panel, because they've invested into building the solar panels, they will be also get paid by utility company in IOTA, right? So IOTA basically is building the whole ecosystem as a part of the smart contract or smart cities. Uh, anyway, so this is, you can look it up, Cities of Future with IOTA Foundation. Let's go back to our presentation. So any questions so far from anyone on Ethereum?
No, sir. No questions up till now.
Okay, great. So we looked at Ethereum, we looked at Hyperledger, we looked at IOTA. Now let's look at some of the other models. One is EOS. Interestingly, there is no full form for EOS. This is just a name. So this is a smart contract platform which eliminate basically transaction fees, and one of the big advantage of EOS platform, and you can check it out, eos.io. Let me just quickly go there so that you have at least look and feel of it. So this is, it is, it enables you to build your business applications just like, like web applications. So, but the biggest advantage, the transactions are millions of transactions can per second. That is a big promise of EOS. So it is, again, there is a corresponding cryptocurrency as well called EOS, and initial release happened in recently, like 2 years back. So there is still a lot of work is ongoing on this. You can see the whole open source code available on GitHub /EOS.io. You can be able to download and see more information about it. So essentially, what EOS does is a blockchain-based decentralized system that enables development, hosting, executions of commercial decentralized application, right? dApps that I mentioned earlier on this platform. So what EOS offers, first of all, as I said, there is no name to it. It providing all the required functionality and framework so that you can create blockchain-based applications, like giving you security access, it give you authentication, permissioning, data hosting, all usage management, database access. So basically, it is giving you all kind of APIs so that you can build EOS-based web applications. Just like building a web application, you can build blockchain-based application. So that is what EOS offers. So key things to remember is the scalability. Unlike other platform that I talked about earlier, it provide you huge scale up. Another platform we can talk about, we can look at, it's a Corda, right? So Corda, and many times you see the terms use Corda apps. So again, the key points to understand here is Corda is more suited for financial ecosystem or financial applications. So again, it's an open source platform for blockchain for financial system. So since beginning, right, Bitcoin obviously is about the money transfer, like peer-to-peer money transfer. And being the first application of blockchain, Bitcoin has got so much of attention. And because of that, obviously, financial institutes or fintech or financial technologies has more attraction towards blockchain as a technology. So more and more financial institutes are looking at various applications to solve their problem using blockchain. Now, one thing to understand that why blockchain is relevant. Anything in a financial institutes or financial transactions or anything with the money matters, a few things are very important. One is the security, right? Second is the traceability. And the third is the whole trackable, the transparency. So all transactions should be transparent. Let's say if you have a fixed deposit open in a bank, and after you opened the fixed deposit for 10 years, and you wanted to know what exactly happened in 10 years. Every year, my principal and my compounding interest is being added or not. So you need a traceability into the financial transactions, right? Or let's say you have given money to somebody 10 lakhs rupees as a loan, and that person has returned you 5 lakhs rupees. Everything is get recorded in your tally accounting software, right? Those who maintaining in the tally records. So there is in those tally ledger, you have all the financial transactions are recorded. So financial world, the promise of blockchain are very relevant. So you will see more and more applications are coming up in the financial world. So Corda is one of the platform to support financial domain applications. So they have given some purpose-built work so that you can easily build Corda-based applications for financial institutes. So one of the key advantage of that is it's a permissioned private network. So obviously, unlike the Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is a permission, right? That means not anybody can just be part of it. The administrator has a control those whom you want to allowed to be part of your dApps, right? So the authentication and approval, this is part of the Corda apps. And all the transactions are between the different partners which are allowed to be part of the Corda apps. Now, Corda is governed by R3 consortium, which is collaboration of many financial institutes. So let me show you quickly. Look at the Corda R3 network. So here you will see everywhere all the terminology that all the recent platforms that are talking about. Everywhere they're saying enterprise, right? This is enterprise grade applications. These are enterprise blockchain, right? Or a private blockchain. Here you can read a bit more about it. So key things to understand is R3 platform and so they call it blockchain for business, and these are energy sector, government sector, health sector, supply chain, real estate, trade finance. By the way, trade finance is one of the key things in industry. There is a lot of interest in trade finance, particularly countries like Dubai, where we have a couple of our customers. What happens in a trade finance is, I'm sure some of you know that Dubai is considered as a tax haven because it's a very tax-friendly country. UAE, basically United Arab Emirates. So what happened that companies when they want to import or export from US or European countries, sometimes those transactions are get routed through Dubai because Dubai has certain tax benefits, as I understand. So so all the money needs to be paid, right? Let's say if you have a vendor who is supplying you something from US, but now transaction is routed through Dubai. So you have to pay to the Dubai authority, and Dubai company would be paying to the US company. So there are a lot of transactions happens between the borders or routed through Dubai. And that's what I mean by trade finance. So this is one of the very, very powerful applications through a blockchain, and that's enabled through a Corda. Right. So let's move on to the next slide. So Corda allows you to creation of immutable records for a financial events. Like two parties or two banks are doing any trade finance or transactions. Everything will be get recorded on a Corda based applications. So unlike the other blockchain, here the key difference is the transactions are recorded privately, right? Because it's only been visible between those partners or those trade finance partners. Because in our Ethereum, all the transactions are open. The public can see it. Here, it is not open. And one of the another key difference that I like to highlight, the smart contracts in Corda is written in Java or Java virtual machine. I think some of you are good with the Android application. Right now in Android applications, we use Flutter. Earlier versions, Flutter is a cross-platform applications. Earlier it was Java-based Android, and then Kotlin. Kotlin is the platform which is being used for Android-based application as well. So this is kind of similar. So you can use Kotlin-like syntax to build the Corda smart contracts. Okay. Now let's look at a few next one. I'll just give a brief overview on those. So open chain. So what is open chain? Open chain is suited for organizations which are primarily managing the digital assets, right? Like digital signatures or managing your contracts or wheels and things of those nature. Basically, anybody needs to protect digital assets in a secure and very adaptable way. That's where the open chain platform is very relevant. The one of the key difference here is it enables all the transactions, whatever happens, it instantaneously get validated. So confirmation happens very fast here. And again, as unlike other platform, it does not require any fees for mining. One thing, just as an overall concept, let's understand this. In a blockchain, in a Bitcoin, I need to transfer money from A point to point B or from person A to person B. and it is to be validated because whole ecosystem is participating, and that's why the mining concept comes. Versus an enterprise blockchain, usually the enterprise which is building this application are the owners, right? So they don't need third party to spend their resources for validation. The enterprise who are building this application, they themselves can put on the servers and computation power for equivalent of adding the stuff into blockchain, all the crypto calculations, hashing functions and whatnot. You don't need third party to do it, and that is why usually you won't see any mining, right? There is no fees required for mining, and that's a kind of high level concept that we should understand. So basically for its technology is protected with the help of digital signatures. There is another concept in open chain, which is multiple level of control. So there is no restriction to open the ledger because people can join without any consent, but it will be administrator who approves it. So there is a multiple layer of hierarchy can be developed. So such applications where certain people or certain partners can only access this, but certain people cannot access this. So you have different level of the permissions or different level of hierarchy for approval. That benefit is offered by open chain platform. So basically, you can set up the permissions for every level. And one of the key benefit is transparency. There is quite a bit of transparency in every transactions in this platform. Another one we can look at is a multi-chain. Again, this is a private blockchain platform. This is where the database is shared privately. And unlike the other concept, here there is a concept called designated miners. So miners are like kind of up to some extent similar to Ethereum, where in a proof of stake, I decide that who is the one going to be carry forward this transaction. So kind of similar. You have a designated miners. In this platform, there is no cryptocurrencies involved, like IOTA or EOS. There is a cryptocurrency associated with it. Here, there is no cryptocurrency, and there is a collective administrative rights are given in this platform. So this is one of the most widely, I wouldn't say widely deployed, but the one who's getting widely popularity. So these are some of the codes that I picked up. It is quite popular among the enterprise developers. So developers who are building this platform, they like this multi-chain concept because the documentations are very good. It is very simple and powerful to use. So if you want to build some simple blockchain application, then multi-chain platform is going to be getting good tractions on this. Okay. Now let's look at the next concept called big chain. Big chain, it is essentially the name suggests, it combines the power of big data and it takes the concept of blockchain. So big data and blockchain kind of combine together. That's concept called big chain. So as the data suggests, it support 1 million writes per second. So basically, it has millions of transactions can happen in a second. That's a big promise of big chain. And latency is one of the big issue that's it's solved by this. So latency is in milliseconds. So petabyte, which is 10 raised to 15 petabyte of data with each node, that kind of capacity you can handle. So it gives you high scalability, it gives you the fully queryable database, and it has a decentralization aspects of it, right? So in a nutshell, the way I should look at this is it retained the big data performance. Those who are familiar with the big data, we have done some work with some of our client where we conducted the workshops where the concept of Hadoop, MapReduce, Kafka, the whole ecosystem of big data, that concepts are relevant in this conversation, along with the decentralized immutability and assets transaction recording. That characteristics of blockchain. So essentially, blockchain giving you very high performance. So you have an advantage of big data and the blockchain. This is just one of the steps of building the blockchain database.
Excuse me, sir. There is a
Yeah.
question in chat box.
Okay. All right. One second. Where is the chat box? Okay. All right. So there is a question here. What do you want to say about the time required for valid blocks? Can we say that it's one of the important area of research in a blockchain? So I think that if I repeat the question, time to add a block into the blockchain, right? Now it could be public blockchain. Yes, of course, it is one of the big topic. I would encourage you to read little bit about the blockchain Bitcoin fork, because there is a fork has happened some time back. So all right now there is not enough time to get into the topic, but there are need. Remember I told you in the morning that almost 10 minutes it takes for adding new block in a Bitcoin blockchain. Ethereum is reducing that time. If you remember one of my slides, I talked about the number of transactions that you can have do it in a minute or in a second. That is one of the key criteria, and that is why you see this multi-chain or big chain concept is getting more traction, because yes, there are some really good advantage of blockchain, but if you cannot do at scale, then it defeats the purpose, right? Versus in a current stock market transaction, right? Every second, these days people are getting the stock real-time quotes in a matter of milliseconds. So in that case, you have to scale up. So I absolutely agree with you that there is a interesting topic of research. Yeah. I didn't get the second question. Yeah, open chain, multi-chain are a bit different concept with the slight differences among them. Now, just so before we
Hello,
stop,
sir.
yeah.
Actually, I'm having one question regarding as a teacher or as an engineer professor. I would like to know that if our students wants to start learning blockchain, or as your company is offering jobs in blockchain area as a blockchain developer or blockchain trainee. So, what do you think as a company or as a expert? What companies will require in a student as a blockchain developer?
Good question. Very good question. I think first of all there should be hunger, right? This is evolving, right? This field is so much evolving that you just type. I mean, we just talked about few platforms today. There are hundreds of platforms. There are hundreds of cryptocurrencies. So somebody needs to have a basic knowledge about blockchain, cryptography, hashing, security, networking, database, and obviously smart contract like Python, Go language. So believe me, this is kind of almost like a full stack developer, but more than full stack. I would let me take it back. I'm not talking about full stack. I think more full plethora of concept. So person needs to be quite comfortable with networking concept, right? Because there is cryptography should be part of it, right? Private secure hashing algorithm, cryptography, public private key infrastructure. Database is very key essence of it. So these concepts are, I believe, are required. So just to start with, you can learn this solidity, learn writing a smart contracts, but that's not enough. I think before you apply for smart contract kind of jobs, in fact there are jobs like that smart contract developer, right? Or if you want to build the hyperledger based application, you need to have the pretty much both the session today you covered. You need to have an ecosystem understanding of it, how that get deployed. And last part I would highlight, which probably I wouldn't expect from the freshers right away, but this is not a rocket science. If you put your heart and mind to it, within 2 months, you probably would know more than I do, right? Because you're going to get into a lot more detail in terms of implementing stuff.
And one more thing, sir. Which kind of certification courses we can suggest for students? Always students are asking us
there are
from where to start.
There are, I mean, no, just like, you know, there is no easy answer. I think there are
Yes.
number of courses out there. You just do search Google on it. Udemy,
Yes,
Coursera,
Udemy is providing some courses. Yes.
so many. I mean, there is no limit to it. It's just, I think, such programs should give you comprehensive view of it. Otherwise, if you just starting to doing research on net, I mean, you will be lost because there are so many information is out there that is hard to understand. And the last point that I would highlight before I'll stop, let me show my screen. There is concept of QLDB. This is one of the very powerful concept that Amazon has come up with. It's a quantum ledger database, which is not part of our curriculum, but I'm just going to talk about it for a second. As you can see on the screen, it is fully managed.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't know what happened. Let me. How about now?
No more questions now, sir.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Can somebody put unmute the other participant? So the last point I was trying to highlight that Amazon AWS has this concept of quantum ledger, which is fully managed ledger database. Essentially, it is kind of a pseudo layer on top of underlying blockchain hyperledger kind of applications. So AWS would make it so simple that you will give you APIs which internally use the PeriQL language like a SQL. Just like if you know SQL queries, you can write similar queries on QLDB, but it eliminates all the complexity from you. So if you wanted to deploy new blockchain application, QLDB of AWS is also one of the powerful alternative, just like many other platforms that we looked at it. Because as I said, AWS is one of the biggest cloud platform, and those who are already familiar with AWS, this is like one of the service that AWS offer where it hides a lot of complexity underneath, right? So this is another area I would like, those who are interested, just explore this further. All right, so with that, let me stop here and thank you for participation and good questions and interactivity.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. It would be indeed really helpful for all the participants who attended it. Tomorrow, we will be having session by Dr. Bela Shrimali ma'am from LDRP IGR. She will be taking sessions on digital currency, cryptocurrency, and hands-on session will be there on creation of the smart contract. So tomorrow we will meet sharp at 10:30. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you.